Welcome back to my show Date with Nature 9. In today's episode, let's explore a bit more about functional testing. So, what is a functional test and how is it different from a regular blood test? Let me explain. It's an advanced test which assesses the biological functioning to identify the root causes. They help the practitioners understand the different types of imbalances in the body. It could be poor mitochondrial function, metabolic dysfunction, poor detoxification, hormonal imbalances, inflammatory markers, gut dysbiosis, which is the most common one. We have to work like a detective to solve either a simple case or a complex case. We have to turn into Sherlock Holmes to crack the mystery of chronic diseases. With the help of these tests, we make personalized treatment plans. But what's not surprising is one of the most common root cause is stress. So I hope you got an idea about these functional tests and how these tests help us to solve the complex cases. To name a few of the tests, comprehensive stool analysis, which is basically a stool test. Trillions of bacteria reside in our colon. This test gives us a detailed report of all the viruses, fungi, the good and the bad bacteria. And the good bacteria which play a major role in digestion, immunity and brain function. We can also check the zonulin levels, which is a very important marker for leaky gut. The next test is the hair minerals test, which measures the heavy metal accumulation with the help of a hair strand. Next is the Dutch test. It's a hormone test. It checks the estrogen metabolism, the good and the bad estrogen metabolites, some of which are carcinogenic. And it also checks the cortisol metabolism. Cortisol, which is a rescue hormone for stress, which is so important because in every case in functional medicine, the root cause, 80% of the root causes are stress. The next test is the METABOLOMIX test. This is a very interesting test which measures how well the nutrients are utilized at the cellular level. The B vitamins and the minerals, the need for antioxidants, the need for reduced toxin exposure, the need for methylation support, and so on. The next test is the oats test. This test evaluates the metabolic byproducts that come from energy production. The vitamin and nutrient status, gut microbes, detoxification and oxidative stress, neurotransmitter metabolites. Move on to the next test, which is the neurotransmitter test, which helps us assess the serotonin, GABA and dopamine, and the balance between the excitatory and inhibitory neurotransmitters. The next one is a mycotoxins test. The toxic secondary metabolites produced by the mold are shown in these tests. These are linked to many chronic conditions, including chronic fatigue, diagnosed and undiagnosed neurological problems. The next one is the environmental toxin test. This test shows us the levels of pesticides, the plastics, the pollutants, so on and so forth. It's a beautiful test. I think we all should get it done once. The genetic test comes the next to check for any genetic SNPs. The cardiac metabolomics test, which clearly shows us the levels of oxidized LDL, which is a cardiac risk marker. The size of the LDL, for example, if it's very small, the size of the LDL particle is small, they are at high risk. The next test is the food intolerance test. We all know about various food intolerances. Many of us have like celiac, lactose intolerance, histamine intolerance. And the allergy testing, the immune reaction involving IgE antibodies, which are mainly associated with the conditions like hives and anaphylaxis and so on. This is a brief overview of all the functional tests. Hope you all got an idea about what are these functional tests, which are basically a little bit advanced.